Muffled sounds of cursing.
Screeches of pain.
Defiance.
Rudeness.
While bending and then snapping angels' wings.
Contained within a concrete and glass chamber surrounded by instruments with scores of tentacles, monitors, measuring life and documenting death.
The glass and cancer ward shows no prejudice or rules of its come-and-go occupant.
To this day, my memory has either ruled out this one lady's name or is protecting me from it.
She was a large, strong shell of a woman with a personality to match.
Tattoos, both root in application and message, unevenly balanced.
With words of love.
Headstrong and defiant person. That cohesiveness was direct, rough, and unforgiving.
She just seemed to appear one early morning.
Nurses were more stressed than usual and apparently concerned with controlling their own tolerance.
When they would enter this room, they seemed to hesitate, but destined to do so.
The door would crack open, spewing vulgarity and condescending language that would penetrate the others' confined rooms.
Each nurse exited, tried, measured, and tested, yet compassionately.
Our eyes would meet as I would pass the stretch or take occasional breaks from reality.
Although her rudeness was offensive, the reason for it was understandable.
The whole day has passed, yet not one visitor came to see her. On this floor, in these rooms, this was a first for me.
I would notice she was in constant treatment from the great variety of treatment bags and machines of not common.
It was 3 a.m. in the morning.
The 2 rooms I watched closely were still quiet and comfortable as possible in this environment.
I needed a smoke, so I stepped away for a bit.
On return, as routine, I sanitized myself, stood in the vacuum entrance area to rid my clothes of all impurities.
I tried not to appear social, as to evade attention from this one room.
Through the glass window, a commotion attracted my attention. She was setting up in bed and profoundly gesturing me to enter.
Glancing at the station nurse, she nodded yes, with an unspoken plea attached.
Going out for a smoke and a drink, aren't you? I laughed at this, not expecting it. The cigarette for sure, not the drink.
She would laugh like a sailor going to shore, then breaking into jerking and uncontrollable body motion.
I didn't know how to react or what to do. Turn and exit or call for the nurse.
Instinctively, I grabbed her hand to try to comfort her in the long experience. When she came to rest, she grasped my hand firmly, aimed at not letting go.
On each finger there was a letter that formed the word L-O-V-E when combined.
With concern out of ordinary for the person, she asked how my wife and friend are doing.
Her bald head covered by a Budweiser scarf. Eyebrows and lashes long gone by chemo. Her eyes expressed feeling that only she could conjure.
Welding tears that trickled in slow motion, she asked me to please stay and visit.
She spoke about how her and her husband lived a sinner's life.
Not raising their 3 children right. how the whole family's been in and out of jail.
She seemed to recall happy times, but couldn't express them.
She spoke of how 2 of her children had died in a car crash, and the 3rd had run away. Her husband had committed suicide, and she was all alone.
It took very little time for me to now grasp and not let go.
I let her talk without interruption. I listened for an hour as it calmed her to do so.
Stories of her life were not fair, but shared not in shame or seeking pity. Slowly she fell back asleep.
I went into the vacant waiting room and cried uncontrollably.
As the sun broke the night and the floor once again became busy, I awoke to my love looking straight into my eyes at the joy of me being there. It's a new day of hope, faith, and the fighting spirit.
During the morning routine, we settled in for our rigors of the day.
The room of vulgarity fell melancholy on this day.
The blinds were shut tight, as to give solitude and self-preservation.
Nurses entered and exited this room with delicate posture. It remained this way until dark.
2 a.m. I would be headed out for a smoke. Upon re-entering, her blinds would be wide open in anticipation of my return.
We talked of my love's condition, and she expressed how she learned that I'd barely left her side.
She was now holding my hand, and with the tenderness of a child, she fiddled with it.
She said she wouldn't be here for much longer, and wanted all others here to have her many scarves she'd collected.
She said something that cut to the bone. I have a favor to ask. She said she wanted a cigarette, a sip of bourbon, and a can of mushroom soup.
Speechless, I reluctantly nodded. Okay. She said you would do this for me, and cried hard as she pulled me in for a long hug.
I told her I shouldn't, but I would if she really wanted me to.
I told her she was very mad when she first checked in, and now she's peaceful. I told her she's in the hands of something much greater, and that anything said or done could be forgiven if asked.
Without asking, she got a noticeable silent prayer from me.
The look on her face became just beautiful.
I told her I was going to church in the morning, and I would bring her her last request.
She let me get out the door before pausing me, saying, "Honey, the soup is all I need."
I couldn't wait to get back to the hospital to see all, check on my loved one, and deliver the can of soup.
All was good until I headed that short distance to her room.
The nurse with the broken wing paused me, hugged me, and said this lady had passed.
Excitement turned to pain and emptiness.
The broken wing healed and spread out wide, thanking me for spending time with this soul.
I will never know here, but I prayed to see her again in heaven. I found my soul again on floor 14.
Say something like you love me and make my day, like you always do, like you always do.